Hello, my name is Carmen Bellos. I'm one of the co-founders of The Great Lesser Known, a website that illuminates lesser-known artists in Middle Tennessee. Today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Katie Gonzalez. She is a book artist. Hi, Katie. Yes, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
Yes, of course.
So tell me, how did you end up here in Tennessee? Where did you start from?
So I originally grew up outside of Chicago. So I lived there until I graduated from high school. And then I moved to Georgia to attend the University of Georgia, where I studied graphic design. And during my time there, I studied abroad in Italy, which is where I first was introduced to book arts.
Very nice.
And then after college, I had a short stint in Minneapolis, and then moved to Waynesboro, Virginia for a couple years, and then moved to Nashville about 5 years ago.
So Katie, how did you become interested in book art?
So I became interested in book arts when I studied abroad in Italy during college, and I took a book arts and papermaking class while I was there, and that was my first introduction to bookbinding as an art form, and I just fell in love with it. And learning it in Italy, where I got to see a lot of different traditional examples and go to these paper shops where you can see all these gorgeous decorative papers, and we visited a medieval papermaking studio, and we just got to see so many wonderful things, and it was the perfect introduction to book arts, and it really propelled my interest in the field moving forward.
Oh, I can imagine. So tell me a little bit about the process of bookbinding.
So it's done completely from scratch. Like I'm just starting with paper and leather and fabric and thread, and I'm bringing all of those together to make these one-of-a-kind books. So everything is hand sewn, and I'm really interested in creating books with exposed stitching on the spines. So you're really seeing how the book is held together, and it becomes a decorative element as well. So a lot of that binding is very traditional, but then beyond that, I'm trying to sort of move in a more contemporary direction. So whether that is the color schemes that I'm using or the materials that I'm using, trying to make books that are very functional and sort of that fit into our daily lives today.
How is your career going with this? Are you able to do this on a part-time basis, full-time basis?
So for the past 5 years, this has been my full-time job. So it started out as a hobby, in college,
Sure.
and I was trying to, incorporate book arts into a lot of my graphic design projects. And then after college, I was making wedding guest books for friends and for myself. And, at that point it was a hobby, but I really wanted to explore this further. So I started doing some art shows, and I started an online shop. So it was part-time for a while, and then it got to the point where I was able to sort of expand that and make it my full-time job.
That's wonderful. And for my last question, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to continue to expand? Do you want to have like a shop, or are you happy with where you are as being able to work out of your own studio?
Yeah, so I'm really satisfied with where I am right now, but I think the thing that I'm most excited about is inspiring people to use handmade books. So I think that's something that a lot of people are sort of intimidated by, like the opening a book and it's a blank book. So that's sort of been one of my missions, is kind of to inspire people to fill books, whether it's a really momentous occasion like a wedding guest book or a baby book or something like that, or also just like a little notebook that you fill on a road trip, or with like quirky observations, or a garden journal or something like that. And I actually make a lot of photo albums that with square pages that people use for Instagram photos. So kind of like making these books relevant to, like, in your daily life. So that's something that I've been really interested in. And then also just expanding the book arts community in Nashville, because there is actually a really wonderful book arts community here.
Oh.
And we have a book arts festival every year. And so there's been a lot of interest in this art form here in town. And it's been really exciting to sort of like see that grow and see that expand. So I think, kind of that community aspect is something that I'm really excited about as well. And I teach a lot of bookbinding classes. So that's been fun to explore. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Taking the old into the new, in our culture today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Katie, for taking the time to talk to us.
Yes.